Welcome to another mobile edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. Guys, I am a retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. If you like all things true crime related from the police perspective, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you will get all things DutyRon before I go live or when I upload another video. Today, I want to talk to you about two things. The Harmony Montgomery case. Harmony Montgomery, we've been speaking about her for months and months and months. About 30 days ago or more, we had a huge, huge search. Tara, good to see you. Cat Lover, thanks for joining. Aunt BB, a lot of people are here. Alicia B, Brandy is here. Good to see you. Thank you, Annie. All right, before I get into saying hello to everybody, huge search that went on at a secondary location that Adam Montgomery, her father, and her step monster, Harmony Montgomery's Kayla Montgomery. They were living there, I think, about a year or so in the past. It was a secondary location, and they were searching. They removed a huge refrigerator, some pieces, as Ed Wallace and I were looking at the forensics aspect of it, looked like pieces of carpeting and or sheetrock. They removed quite a bit of evidence, and they spent quite a bit of time outside of that home in New Hampshire. And it was, ripping apart all of us. We were like, oh my God, did they find Harmony in there? Did they find parts of her remains in there? What were they doing? Hey Steve, good to see you. How are you, brother? Before I get into it, I want to say a special thank you to the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all of the folks who subscribe and engage in this community. You are what makes us a great place. And I can't say enough good about all of you guys and girls who positively engage in these true crime stories that we cover. These aren't stories that are having happy endings. And I want to thank all of you for sticking with me and Ed Wallace and all the professionals that we bring on. Good to see you, Gerda, from South Africa. You guys stick with us when we bring on all these professionals, and we go into the meat and potatoes of all of these cases. We really break it down for you guys. And in the process of breaking it down, we have some really difficult conversations to have with you guys. And I want to say thank you. I want to thank you guys for sticking in there with us. So Harmony Montgomery, 30 days ago, we had the FBI, and we had local, state, and federal police departments down on the scene. They removed so much evidence. They did so much work at that location, sifting through soil. It looked like they looked at soil underneath the foundation of that location at that property. They asked everyone to leave. By a show of hands, who was on board with what I'm saying here? Who here remembers that whole that it was like crime scene tape put up across the block? Nobody was able to come in. They asked the people to leave the night before and evacuate the residents. It was a multi-residence dwelling. So it was so much that they did. And we haven't heard a thing. We haven't heard anything. And, from my perspective, from my investigative perspective and Ed's investigative perspective, we're not surprised that you haven't heard anything by now. But a regular person, Crystal Sorey, that's Harmony Montgomery's biological mother, to the true crime enthusiasts who are watching it, they're like, hey, what the heck is going on here? Why is it taking over 30 days for us to find out what you guys recovered, if anything, from that location? But there's a lot of forensics, there's a lot of lab processing that has to go on, and there is a case. These detectives and the FBI and the U.S. Marshals and everyone who's involved in this case, they're building layers of a cake, right? They're putting a cake together. They're putting a puzzle together. They're taking the pieces and putting this puzzle together. Michelina, good to see you. Hi, Scout Inquirer. So they're putting a very important puzzle together. And that important puzzle is to bring justice for Harmony Montgomery against whoever is responsible for her demise. And they're trying to figure it out. Okay. Jennifer, good to see you. And welcome, Cat Lover and Ramona. Welcome to all the new channel members. I'm so happy to see so many new channel members. So if you can, hang around. We're going to play a little piece. It's going to show Crystal Sorey, that's Harmony Montgomery's mom, expressing her frustration. And naturally, I understand her frustration. But again, when you don't know the components that have to be, the moving parts that have to be, that have to happen to get a successful prosecution and to figure out what happened in a case where you're not getting much cooperation. Adam Montgomery's a shitbag. Kayla Montgomery is a real, piece of work. These are two criminals who are not giving up any information. They're not giving up any information that we know of. So I want to play this little clip for you guys so you can see and watch and hear the frustration on Crystal Sorey. That's Harmony Montgomery's mom. I want you guys to hear what she has to say. So Josh, if you could just kick off that video and we'll go full screen with it and you guys could watch this and we'll listen. So this will give you a better idea.
It's been almost a month since investigators in Manchester, New Hampshire searched an apartment in connection with the disappearance of little Harmony Montgomery. So far, investigators have not said anything about new clues they may have uncovered, and that is not sitting well with Harmony's mom. She wants answers, and tonight she spoke exclusively with NBC 10's Michael Rosenfield. He's joining us live now from Manchester with her story. Michael, what does she have to say?
JC, Harmony's mom says she hasn't gotten any information at all in terms of what, if anything, may have been found during the search. That search took place right here inside this apartment building here in Manchester, right there on the second floor.
I mean, I haven't heard anything. Nothing from the search, nothing.
Harmony Montgomery's mother, Crystal Sorey, says she's still in the dark nearly 4 weeks after a high-profile search in this Manchester apartment building.
I'm just not being told anything, and it's not right, Michael. It's not right. I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, hoping that they tell me a little crumb of information.
The day of the search, investigators took out possible evidence, including a refrigerator from the apartment where Harmony's
Josh,
father,
can you pause
Adam
it for a minute?
Montgomery, and her stepmother.
All right, so I want to just go back to the part where she talks about twiddling her thumbs and they're not giving her crumbs. Listen, I get the frustration that is on Crystal Sorey. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about giving her crumbs and about her twiddling her thumbs. It's about these investigators, these forensic detectives, these men and women who have basically are running around with blindfolds on, trying to pick up the pieces to solve the puzzle of what happened to her daughter. So I kind of get offended a little bit by that, though, that statement, but I understand the statement. I understand the statement and the frustration, but she doesn't realize what she's saying is, hey, come on, why don't you rush through this so we could screw up this investigation just so I can get some answers. It doesn't work that way, and someone should really speak to her. And if she has a victim's advocate, I'm hoping that victim's advocate will talk to her and tell her, hey, listen, this is not a race, or this is a marathon. We got to go through it and meticulously put all the pieces of this puzzle together. Pat's Cats, thank you for the $10 super chat. And she says justice for Harmony. Amen to that. Amen to that. Josh, if you could just scroll it back a little bit to that part where she talks about that, and then let it run forward from there. I just had to say that. I want you guys to know it's not on, really, she has no knowledge of what it takes to, capture a criminal and get a successful prosecution, and I get that. But here in this case, this is just outright frustration coming out, and it's coming from a mom, and I get it. So let's let the rest of this play.
Profile search in this Manchester apartment building.
I'm just not being told anything, and it's not right, Michael. It's not right. I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, hoping that they tell me a little crumb of information.
The day of the search, investigators took out possible evidence, including a refrigerator from the apartment where Harmony's father, Adam Montgomery, and her stepmother, Kayla, once lived.
I want to know what was in that fridge, what was in that freezer, what was in that fridge, why did they take it out? I want to know why they took out tiles and carpets and the pole, and was there blood? Like, was there hair? Was what happened?
Crystal says before the search took place, she was given an ominous warning by her advocate in the case.
I was told to be prepared for the worst.
Manchester Police and the state's attorney general tell us the case remains active, but there's no update and they would not address Crystal. Tell us the case remains active, but there's no update and they would not address Crystal's concerns about the lack of information being shared.
I just have this like really bad feeling all the time, and really badly. Like, I know this is gonna end the way that I didn't want it to end at all.
Crystal still doesn't know if Harmony is being held against her will or even if she's still alive.
If we never find her, then what? She never gets to lay to rest, or, you know, maybe she's being tortured this whole time. Like, I don't know. Like, if she is deceased, at least I know that she hasn't been suffering this whole time. And like, that's the only peace I have.
Crystal says she's still hoping that somebody will come forward with critical information that could help solve the case. There is still reward money available, about $150,000. Live in Manchester, New Hampshire tonight. Michael Rosenfield, NBC 10 Boston.
All right, Michael,
Thank you for that, Josh.
If you are
Thank you so much for that. Again, frustration is clear and evident, and I get it. She wants to have the answers, but if they give her what they have and she puts it out, say on social media or puts it all over Facebook, you could ruin the case. Harry McClellan, thank you so much for being a member for 13 months on the DutyRon Bronze. Harry says, thanks, DutyRon, your channel is great. Well, thank you for that. I greatly appreciate that. The channel is great because of folks like you and all of the great live chatters that question and ask all the good ones. They all ask the good questions, and I appreciate that. Ramona, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. She says, prayers, and I hope they find her soon. These parents are terrible for doing that to a child. Amen. I agree 100%. You know, you couldn't have said it any better. And at the end of the day, you know, the police and the investigators are responsible to figure out the missing pieces of the puzzle of what happened to Harmony Montgomery. So 30 or more days have passed since that expansive, exhaustive search at that apartment complex, a multi-family dwelling, and we still don't have any answers. And, you know, that's frustrating to a lot of people. And again, we say that frustration is not an option for investigators. We cannot get frustrated. We need to stay focused. We need to stay, stay the course, get and collect as much evidence as we can to create a solid case to bring justice for Harmony Montgomery. This girl no longer has a voice. She no longer has a voice, and the only people that can be a voice for her is justice, and that's it. So, again, I wanted to come live with you. That was that news clip that I just played for you guys was from 2 days ago. So it is a recent and current news clip. Pat's Cats, good to see you. High Fiber Floozy. Jill, always a pleasure to see you. Ray, great to see you as well. Thank you for joining. Dawn Marie, Lorna McKenzie, Rianne Evans. All the new channel members are piling in. Jamie Bailey, Debbie T, Lauren W. They're all here. Fran Meller, good to see you. Montana Mama, thank you for joining. Sosina, always good to see my Irish friend. Scout Inquirer is here. Marilyn, great to see you as well. Thank you all. I want to transition to a very uncomfortable conversation, a very uncomfortable thing to talk about, and we have been speaking about it. Police Off the Cuff, my good friend Bill Cannon and Detective Phil tackled the newly released Inside a Robb Elementary School video of the lack of action taken by the Uvalde police and other agencies who responded to the horrific school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. And I have to bring this up because I would feel like I would be negligent by not speaking about it. Just 2 days ago, I presented a video right here from this spot. I presented a video to each and every one of you, and I asked the question, should Pete Arredondo be fired? And wholeheartedly, 100%, I don't think there was not one person who did not agree with that statement that yes, he should step down or be fired. But I feel strongly that stepping down is not an option because he would still be able to collect his pension if he stepped down. I feel like a firing and no collection of a pension would be a better thing for that police chief, the school police chief, Pete Arredondo. The other officers who were present in that hallway and outside of that school, for the lack of a better word, they were cowardice in the line of duty. Nobody. You can't tell me that not one man or woman, professional law enforcement officer on that scene did not in their mind say, fuck this, there's gunfire being fired inside this school at children. We're going to go to the fight. And we're going to put rounds towards that bad guy up in the air, shoot rounds down the hallway, shoot rounds straight up in the air to create a diversion. Somebody could have gone outside where the windows were, as I said many times, shoot up into the top of that classroom. There was already gunfire going off in the classroom. There was nothing done. There was zero done. I am going to have a live special guest joining me. I don't know if it's going to be tonight or tomorrow. I'm trying to work on it. He's a school safety resource officer and also an executive who represents school safety resource officers in the state of Florida. I'm going to try to have him join me tonight, if not tonight, tomorrow, I hope. And we're going to discuss this video. We're going to break it down. I have the full 1 hour and change video. It starts, and I know many of you have seen it, it starts outside the school from the mortuary across the street. The video is hard to watch, but it shows this piece of human garbage crash into a ravine with the pickup truck at a high rate of speed. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. Crashes the truck, gets out of the truck as two personnel from the mortuary go walking over to where the accident happened to try to help this individual. He decides to start pumping rounds at these guys, and then one of them falls as they're retreating. They come back and they call 911, and police start the response. Before 3 to 5 minutes before he even reached the school. So Josh, if you'd be kind enough to cue up that video, I want to play it from the beginning so you guys can see some of this footage of this car crashing. And again, warning, graphic content. I got to tell you, it is graphic content. I'm not going to show all of the inside of the school, but I want you to see how violently this guy crashes into that ravine and then gets out, hops over a fence, and proceeds to enter Robb Elementary School, and how much time they had. So Josh, if you could play that, I'd appreciate it. So look in the red circle for the truck there. So now these are the two mortuary workers. They are going out towards to see, hey, what happened? What's going on here? And you're going to see one of them fall backwards. That is at the point when he's shooting the rifle at them. And now you see them running back. They call immediately 911 at that point. And now he is going to take a bag and throw a duffel bag or something over the fence. And he's going to jump the fence to the left. And you're going to see him head towards the school. They're going to follow him with this red dot, I believe, this red circle. Or maybe they take it off. I'm only going to play this as he enters the school, and then we're going to stop it because later tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to cover this in its entirety. So when it gets to that part where he actually is walking into the school, Josh, we're going to end that part. Okay, just bear with me here because they're going to switch videos. It's going to be a switch of a view. A couple of cars will go by. We're going to see him walk across. There's the arrow of him. That's the shooter walking across the school. And now it's going to switch. All right, so this is still from the mortuary. It's a different angle, I believe. And that's him walking across the school parking lot. He's got the AR-15 right over his shoulder, and he's walking up to the school. And you could see it's time-stamped, 11:30, 11:31. And cars are just driving by. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody's seeing what's going on. Everybody's going about their daily routine. But the police already have the call. The shot fired call has already come in. Police are already gotten that 911 call. Those mortuary guys called immediately. And I just want to let the rest of this play, and I'll tell you when to cut it off, Josh. So these are teachers screaming and asking the students to get in. It's difficult at best to listen to this. All right, so this is now showing him walking alongside the building and making his entrance. And this is where he comes into the school. All right, Josh, you could stop it. Once the kid comes out, I just want to play right till the little kid sees him, and then he runs away, which is the smartest thing that kid could have done. He proceeds to walk down the hallway, enters the school, enters the classroom on the left, and fires some shots. And he runs. Josh, you could stop it there. Again, that made me sick to my stomach, physically made me ill. And I have been to arguably hundreds of homicide scenes and shootings, graphic, gruesome, I, I mean, I could go on and on here, and tell you about some of the more, nasty, more, morbid, uh, you know, dismemberings and things of that nature that I've seen over the course of my 20 years. But when I saw this and I reviewed this whole hour plus long video, it made me physically ill. I was sick to my stomach. I felt like I was going to throw up. And I was thinking of these 19 little boys and girls and the two school teachers and everybody else who is in those buildings that have to live with this for the rest of their lives. I also got sick to my stomach and got nauseous because it is the profession that I know and love, of the brave, of the bold, of the people who go and put their lives on the line like I did. I responded to the World Trade Center when our nation was attacked. Pieces of building falling off around me on the pile at the World Trade Center, running into buildings when shots were being fired. It made me want to, I felt like I died inside watching that video. That's the best way I could describe it, ladies and gentlemen. It made me feel like I died inside because everything that I stand for and all of the bravery that, you know, law enforcers across the nation, men and women, they lay their lives on the line. They shoot it out with bad people on a regular basis. We could look at body cam footage from car stops when police pull somebody over for expired registration and it escalates into them being shot. These are what the true brave men and women do in law enforcement. And when I see what happened in that hallway in Robb Elementary School, it's the exact opposite of what we're trained to do. It's the exact opposite of what we're there to do. When we raise our right hand and accept that oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and to be, to protect and serve, it doesn't it doesn't involve what we saw in that video. It is exact opposite. And cowardice in the line of duty is just being nice and being mild. There's so many other words and expletives that I could use to to make an analogy of what what wasn't done. And there was so much that wasn't done in those 78 minutes, 77, 78 minutes. It's just heartbreaking, folks. So I want to just say this. Let's try to pull ourselves together and understand, as a community together, we all agree that what happened that day on a very large scale was so wrong. But it's not indicative of what the higher percentage of our law enforcers are doing as we speak. Police are being shot at, police are being stabbed, police are being, people are trying to kill our police. So I don't want to jump on that bandwagon, but I have to call it as I see it. And what I see is just an outright travesty of justice. Those poor little kids were calling 911 and saying, when are they going to come in? When are they going to help us? Those poor people, the 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 teachers, the adults in that school, the terror and the fear and the lack of anybody coming into their aid is just sickening. I wouldn't, I can't even imagine what they were feeling. And the sad, sick part about all of this is that how many of those kids suffered wounds that maybe would not have been life, that maybe would not have taken their lives. Maybe they could have survived it, but because of 78 minutes, 77, 78 minutes, they bled to death. I find it difficult to even say that, to even speak those words. But that's the truth. That's the truth. That perhaps some of those little kids bled to death from superficial wounds that they would have normally survived if they were given attention, if those police would have rushed into that classroom and did whatever they had to do. I'm going to do my best to try to get this professional to come on with us to talk about all of the wrongs that were done by the police. And we need to learn from this and make it never happen again. This is ever to happen again. This goes against every piece of active shooter training we've ever received. You engage the threat immediately. You don't cower down to the threat. You don't back away from it. If there's gunfire put at you and there's gunfire laid down in your direction, we lay our lives on the line every day before we let someone shoot a little kid or any human being. Grady Judd from Texas, the sheriff, Grady Judd, said it well. We will rather have that active shooter shoot at us all day, every day, as opposed to them shooting at our children. So I'm so upset over this, guys. I'm not even going to stay live any longer because I can't speak about this without getting emotional. It really tears apart at my soul because it's not what should have happened. It's not supposed to be this way. It didn't have to be this way. We didn't have to lose 19 children and 2 teachers. These numbers could have been much lower. There's no doubt that there would have been death there. He went into that classroom and started firing immediately. So we can't say, hold on, time out, let's do a do-over. We can't do that. Can't live our lives on a do-over. Guys, thank you for the super chats. I'm sorry I'm missing them. Man, I got to catch my breath. Mary says manslaughter charges and firing for the police chief that held back his officers. There's no reason officers should have even said they were being held back, because when you have an emergency situation where there's shots being fired, you don't need to wait. You don't need to wait for you don't need to wait to get an okay to actively engage a shooter. So thank you, Susan King, for the $20 super chat. The video released by Austin, Texas paper showing 17 officers posing in the hallway is horrifying. They made no efforts to save children. I agree 100% wholeheartedly. Let me just see if I can find some of these super chats. Pat's Cat says, I'm sickened. I would have rushed right in. And this is Texas. Yeah, I agree. You know, I used to look at the state of Texas and say that they're tough on crime and, you know, you don't want to mess around in Texas. But I don't know what the hell is going on in Texas, to be honest with you. There's just so many things happening. But listen, I want to just say thank you to everyone for engaging here. You guys are what makes this a great place. I love and respect all of you. I respect all of your opinions. If you haven't yet, hit the thumbs up on this video. Please thumb up the video. Rocky, thank you so much. Give it a thumbs up now while we're here and so we don't forget. Share it out. Subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. If you're new, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys as soon as I can. I don't know if it'll be tonight or maybe tomorrow, but I do plan to cover this and play that video in its entirety for you guys. But I'm going to wait till I get a professional on with me to kind of chime in and go over this video. So thank you all. Ashley, always great to see you. Noam Garvey, thank you for being here. Diane King, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Moonlight View, I agree 100%. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's everything. I mean, I have no more words at this point, but you guys know how I feel. All right. As I always like to end all of these live streams, God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. And God bless each and every one of us here in the chat, but especially the victims. in Uvalde at Robb Elementary School, and all of our victims, our little ones, are man and womankind. Nobody should be getting murdered, but there's people being murdered as we speak, unfortunately. So we send them strength, prayers, and positive vibes. From this community to all of the crime victims and their families, we send you love and strength. Good day from DutyRon. I'll talk to you soon, and stay safe, guys.